with the Pat Summitt Leadership Group. I don't get the financial gain out of it. I just know it helps people. I've seen it help in times when times are really, really hard. I know, life is this way. We're either coming out of a crisis, we're in a crisis right now, or we're about to go into one. So maybe, you listen to this and you're like, man, I'm just glad I'm back on podcast. I came out of that crisis. I'm in a good spot right now. Maybe you're in one right now and you're trying to get a little something. You're trying to get a little motivation. You're trying to learn, or everything's been good. You might be going into one. I hope it's really far from now. That's when you really see who people are, is when something like that happens. And I know people listen to this, like, you've been through things. I'm sorry. Like, your true habits will come out. Who you are comes out. And that's what I'm so passionate about with the Pat Summitt Leadership Group. We want to help you be ready for those situations. We want to help you in life. We want to help you prepare for those things that you just don't see coming. And I saw how my mom handled it. And it's really the only way I think you can handle things like that, when life just smacks you in the face. I love talking to people that have not heard of mom, because a lot of times if people have heard of mom, it's like, oh yeah, I've heard that story. But when we do things for the Pat Summitt Foundation or the Pat Summitt Leadership Group, and people don't hear about mom, a lot of times their life is just changed in a way where if they've heard about mom over time, it's like, okay. But when somebody gets smacked in the face with some Pat Summitt, it's pretty cool what happens. We just got a testimonial. It's on my desk for the Pat Summitt Leadership Group and the online program. It's this program. It's like an 8-hour course on the definite dozen. And my mom, you get certified in my mom's definite dozen, her 12 principles for success. This is from the financial industry. This is an IT. Listen to this testimony that says, I was not from Tennessee. I didn't really follow sports. Okay. Sound familiar? Thinking, how is a basketball coach going to teach me, an IT leader? I wasn't sure I would connect with her, but I was sorely mistaken. I found that the way she loved and invested in her people was exactly how I felt a leader should be, and I found myself wanting to be more like her and to see the impact that she had on her people even decades after they're gone from Tennessee basketball cemented for me that how you treat people and lead people, for the good or the bad, will follow them for the rest of their lives. It makes me strive every day to be the type of leader that impacts my team in a positive way, and I am more careful in the choices I make daily. There you go. My mom was just a winner. I don't know how else to put it. She was a winner. And it wasn't just on the court, it was off the court. I mean, she literally retired as the winningest coach in the industry. And so retire with more wins than anybody, men or women. And so she's just a winner, but off the court, I mean, she was labeled the coach of the century. That one always gets me still, like coach of the century. Like, for whoever's listening to this, take your title and put of the century out of it. Maybe you're the salesperson. What if you're the salesperson of the century? Maybe you're the stay-at-home mom. What if you're the stay-at-home mom of the century? Is that not crazy? I mean, of the century. And she got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, highest civilian honor that you can possibly get. She was given the award at the White House of the top 50 female leaders in the country. Like, leader, not sports. For those of you who aren't sports people, stay on, still listen. This ain't about sports. This is about life, and my mom got every accolade you can imagine, gave keynotes everywhere, was the first in the industry to negotiate a salary of over $1 million. Did so much for women's sports, yes, but women in general, and honestly, leadership. Started when she was on a dairy farm. And, she was so shy. Like, if you had met my mom back then, I'm told that you would not think this was going to be somebody that went on to become a celebrity, that went on to do all the things that she accomplished. When she was playing in the Olympics, 1976, first game with her teammates, first game with her coaches, and her dad comes to watch. Okay, now my grandfather he was this 6'5" tobacco farmer. I mean, this guy is scary. This guy is like legit. And he's in the front row and he's up there and he's yelling, "Rebound, Trish, rebound." Her family, for the first 18 years of her life, called her Trish, not Pat. My mom's playing hard, but she said one of her teammates that game had like 30 rebounds. Which is crazy. I mean, teams overall have 30 rebounds in a basketball game. That teammate's name was Trish Roberts. thought this scary 6'5" tobacco farmer was going to kill her if she didn't rebound. Right. My mom was this shy farm girl, to be honest with you, that was too shy to correct people at age 18 on her name. No, it's Trish. It's not Pat. She didn't decide to change her name. She was too shy. Like, imagine that. She's too shy. I don't know what you're going through in life, but I know that my mom's story can help you because she has gone through so many things. It just shows you if you can do things the right way, if you can make winning an attitude, if you can it's a mindset, you can control it. It's in your control. It's just a testament to what you can accomplish in life. My mom went on to do all those things, but she had to go through the wall. She had to attack that head on. It is an organization that I co-founded so that people did not miss out on knowing who my mom was, but more importantly, on learning from her and helping themselves in their own life. I think there's certain figures that can just impact people. You just believe, you hear their story and you see what they've done. It's like, oh my gosh, you just believe. And my mom was just one of those people. And so, as an only child, I wanted to make sure people continued to be successful. And it's happening. You name it. Every industry is going through the trainings and listen to keynotes and going through in-person workshops and going through online programs and all the above. We're reading books based on my mom, and the testimonials is crazy. My mom is still impacting people right now, today. We're all over the place, and we're helping people in every industry. So it's so cool what's happening. It's my mom's definite dozen. It's 12 principles for success. Everything's based off of that. And that's what she attributes her success to. And then it's applying that to 2025 in your company. How does that apply? And again, it's changing lives for the better. And as you can imagine, as the only child, I thoroughly enjoy seeing people improve through my mom's legacy. My mom had a recipe for success. It's that definite dozen. Now, when she actually sat down and wrote the book, she had already won 3 national championships. She ended up winning 5 more, right? The most in women's basketball at the time. So that's like the highest, award, or highest championship trophy you can get is a national championship. She had 3. After she wrote the book, she get 5 more. And so the definite dozen, it's not like my mom reinvented the wheel for leadership. It's things like communication, respect, teamwork, hard work, things like that. And so there's these skills, though, that it seems like we're losing in today's day and age, right? Because of cell phones, right? Because of all the noise and emails and the news and all this stuff. But the Pat Summitt Leadership Group uses a variety of different methods, in-person training, online, to come and say, okay, here's the right way to do things. Here's how you can treat people the right way. Here's how you win in life with people. And it's all based on my mom's definition. When you go through our online programs, and we have multiple, we have one that's just overall leadership, definite dozen. We have one that's the power of team. We have one that's specific for women's leadership. So no matter who you are, what industry you're in, there's one for you. And what we've seen is when people go through that and they spread it out over 6 months or a year, habits are formed, right? And it's great to say, here are my goals, but let me just watch you for a day and I'll tell you who you are. Let me watch your habits. Let me watch what you do. I don't need you to tell me about, what you plan to do and what you're thinking about and what you tweeted you were going to do and what you told your friend you were going to do and what your New Year's resolution was. I don't need to know any of that. I need to see what you do with your habits. And then I'll tell you who you are and what you're going to accomplish and if you're going to accomplish the goals or not. And so that's what the online program does. It'll take you through over time, self-paced, bite-sized learning, and you learn, okay, this is how I build habits. And so great place to start is right there with the website, going and checking out those online programs. The Pat Summitt Leadership, we absolutely attack the things that technology is trying to do to us, that negative news is trying to do, that all the noise is trying to bring on us, that everybody's trying to play the game. Look at me, you're competing and keeping up with the Joneses. And it's just like, there's so much noise. we all know, honestly, I think we all know what we need to do. We all know, like, oh, this is leadership. This is what we need to do. But are you doing it? Are you doing it for the people around you? We're seeing with companies that bring us in and like, hey, we need help on loyalty and retention and da da da. It's like, okay, well, they're not leaving your company. They're leaving your leaders. They're not being led. They're not being invested in. They're not improving. They don't see a future here. And mom was so magical at this. Let's boil strategy down because my mom was magical at this. She was a master at this. She had to do this over and over again in games. She'd have 90 seconds in a basketball game. There's a timeout. It lasts 90 seconds max, some of them 30 seconds. And she'd have to bring everybody in. She'd have to listen to her assistant coaches real quick, her staff, her C-suite. Then she'd have to go into a huddle. Again, all this in 90 seconds. Get everybody organized. Say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. And here's why we're going to do it. Here's why it's going to work. It made them believe in it. And then she'd say, okay, now let's go. And then she'd have to do it again. She'd have to do it in the game. And then in her career, you got to think, in a college team, you lose 25% of your seniors, they leave. So you lose 25% of your team every year. And they're like your leaders. You're not losing frontline. So she's losing 25% every year and bringing in 25%, which are rookies, fresh out of high school. So every year, she had to go through strategy. Talking about leadership, I think we're losing sight of making sure everybody has the why. And we've heard TED Talks and we've read about know your why, but do you do it? Like, I'm challenging the people listen to this. Do you do that in every area of life? Do you do it in your faith? I don't care what your faith is. Mom is a Christian, I'm a Christian, but whatever that is for you, do you have that? Like, do you have a strategy for your faith? We all have mission statements at work. Do you have a mission statement for your life? What about your family? What about you? If you have kids, if you have kids, do your kids know why they're here? Do they know how to be successful? Do they know what they're trying to do? What about your significant other? Do you know what you're trying to accomplish? Do you know why you have that relationship? Do you have a joint statement where it's like, this is what we're trying to do? My mom did it over and over and over again. It was so simple, but everybody bought in because she was a leader. And here's the secret sauce. She would help them with the what, the how, and the why. Before a season even started, she would say, okay, what are we trying to accomplish? National championship. All right, let's go through the national championship celebration. They haven't even played a game yet. And she says, we're going to celebrate this year's national championship that they haven't won yet. And she goes, okay, we're all going to walk in a line like this. All right, now you're going to sit in this order. Okay, good. The band is on the left. Imagine them there. All the fans are on the right. Okay, now here's the speech. I'll talk first. Captain, you talk second. The banner's going up right here. Hey, tomorrow, does everybody have a suit and a dress? We're going to the White House to meet the president tomorrow because we won the national championship. She's literally doing daily affirmations. I mean, this is in the 80s and 90s, so before her time. She's literally taking them through daily affirmations, and they're affirming that it's like it already happened. It's like they already won, and they're preparing to celebrate. She would have her players lay down on the court and visualize what they were going to do in the game the next day. And listen, that was a lot for a coach to do that because you only got an hour for tournament practices, which is not a lot for a practice. You only got an hour. She would seemingly waste practice time to have them lay on the court, close their eyes, and visualize. But it worked, and they beat the competition, and they were successful. Do you do that in your life? Do you do the affirmations? Do you do the visualization? Are you doing that with your team? Are you doing that with your family? Are you doing that with your peers? I mean, do you wake up and have a morning routine? That's what my mom did. That's what we're trying to help people do. Before you look at the phone and you look at the noise and you look at all this stuff, you've got to take control of your life. You've got to take control of your team before we go through the emails and da-da-da-da-da. You've got to take control. My mom would have one-on-one meetings with everybody in the organization. Everybody. And it took some time. And everybody's like, I don't have time. Trust me, you have time for this. You have time to have one-on-one meetings with the people around you. If you don't have time for that, then come on and say, okay, why are you doing this? Like, why are you at our company? Like, what's the goal? What do you want? Why are you here? Like, why? Like, tell me your why. And my mom would do that with each player. She would know that player number one wanted to go on and play professionally. She wanted to go overseas. She wanted to travel the world playing basketball. She'd know that player number two just wanted to make her family proud. That's it. She didn't want to go on and play pro. She wanted to do a career, something else. And so what if my mom tried to do the same speech to both of them? What if my mom tried to motivate them the same way? What if my mom just came in like a cookie cutter, like some managers, and said, all right, here's what we got to do, go. And that's it. No, my mom would go to player one. She'd say, hey, she whisper, she'd say, hey, there's going to be pro scouts at that game tomorrow. You've got this. You've got this. Your dreams are coming. She'd go to player number two and she'd say, hey, the game's on national TV tomorrow. Your family's going to be so proud of you. You've earned this. Just that small little 10 seconds to each individual, reinforcing their why, and their why fit under the company why, the business why, the organization's why. If we win as a team, everybody else accomplishes their goals. My mom didn't win every game. My mom didn't win every single year, but she was a winner. And over time, if you're willing to do that, you're willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do, you're eventually going to get things that other people aren't willing to get. I mean, our world's competitive. I'm just being honest. Really, it doesn't matter about other people. You know, they're competitors. It matters about yourself. Are you competing to be the best person that you can be? Are you the best version of yourself? And that, again, is what mom did so well. And she knew how to do it. And then she helped other people know how to do it and go through the affirmations and go through the visualization. Do you actually do it? Do you do it with your family? Do you do it with your colleagues? Do you do it for yourself morning, night, whenever you have time to refresh and make sure you're in the right headspace and know exactly how you're going to accomplish your goals? You know, there's research on this, and I've heard it various different ways. But if you just have an idea, just like I kind of want to do something, you actually have a small chance of accomplishing it. It's like 10%. Like, or it's just, I got an idea. Like this, you know, I could do this. And that's not bad. Like 1 in 10 shot. If I just think of something, you know, okay. If you create a SMART goal, and we all have heard of that, you know, specific, measurable, make sure it's time bound, blah, blah, blah. If you do that, okay, it goes up. If you set a how, like how you're going to do it, the process, it actually goes over 50%. So that's what gets you over 50%. But if you set up weekly accountability meetings with other people and say, hey, check in on me on this, hold me accountable to this, and you actually attend those meetings and they're holding you accountable, you have over a 90% success rate. So you have the what, you know your why, you got the how, that got you over the hump. Make sure there's other people around you. Pat Summitt Leadership Group is about life. It's about life. It's not about, you know, it's 5 steps to leadership and da-da-da. Like, this is legit, and I've seen it work because I grew up with it. And I saw one of the biggest winners of our time and how she had an attitude and how it was in her control and how she helped others do it. One of my mom's favorite stories was a story about me playing soccer. So you got to understand, I'm playing soccer. I'm like 5, but at that point, my mom's already done a lot of the things. Like, she's already been coaching for decades. She's already on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I mean, she's already known throughout the state of Tennessee. It's like, you know, nowadays it's Pat, Peyton, Dolly, and Elvis. Those are like the 4 first name people that you've at least heard of if you're in the state of Tennessee, right? And so she's already that. She's already a celebrity. She's already the greatest coach, the greatest in her industry. But she comes to this 5-year-old soccer game, and, you know, I'm out there playing on the first half. It's her first game, my first game and so everything's new. So I'm out there playing, and I come over at halftime, and I say, okay, Mom, how'd I do? And she said, you did all right. It doesn't sound like a Pat Summitt thing to say. So I was like, no, come on, Mom. Like, how'd I do? She said, well, you're not being aggressive. You're not impacting the game. You're just standing there. Like, do something. Go that way. Go this. Go left. Go right. You know, do something. I'm like, okay. I'm going to help my team. Okay. So I go back out there. Second half, I'm everywhere. I am inline to inline, sideline to sideline. I'm all over the place. And so I'm winded, and I come over. I'm breathing. Come back over to my head coach, and we get in our huddle, and he was not happy with me. He was actually really upset at what I had just done in that second half. And so I'm confused now. I walk slowly over to Mom. I'm very confused. And I was like, okay, Mom, very confused. You tell me to be more aggressive. My coach just told me I was playing out of my position. My mom did not realize I was the goalie. Clearly, coach of the century, hadn't learned soccer yet. My mom, coach of the century, best ever, took pen and paper. My mom's in her late 40s or 50s at this point. She goes to a 23-year-old assistant soccer coach at Tennessee. That soccer coach went on to be the head coach. She's at Texas now. She's the head coach at Texas. So she knew what she was talking about, but my mom didn't know that. She's 23. And so my mom goes and sits down, pen and paper, says, hey, can you teach me soccer? And starts taking notes. But then she started taking notes on team bonding exercises. Soccer has more players than basketball. So my mom's thinking, if it'll work for 20 people, it'll work for my 10 players. Starts taking notes. My mom won 2 more national championships after that, after taking notes like that, using some of those team bonding exercises, using some of those things that help your culture, and needed them too. With that 2007, 2008 national championship back-to-back, she needed some. Those personalities didn't mix at the beginning. A lot of people don't know that. Are you open to change? Are you comfortable being uncomfortable? Like, are you resisting change? Is there somewhere in your life, career, home, maybe in your health? I don't know. Are you resisting change? That's what we enjoy helping with. That's what Mom enjoyed helping people with, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, being comfortable with change. That was one of the things my mom was actually consistent at. It sounds weird. She was consistent being uncomfortable. She was consistent changing and always trying to get better.
If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. And to stay updated on everything that the Action Catalyst is up to, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Action Catalyst Podcast and on Twitter at Catalyst_Action. And thanks for listening.